How y'all doing? I'm the Watchman, and this right here is uh, it's actual a video. A friend of mine asked me to do a series on the mark of the beast and last day prophecy, and I prayed about it, and the Lord, of course, the Lord obliged. Prophecy is not being taught in the churches nowadays. It is definitely not being taught, and there's several reasons behind it. One of the reasons is that a lot of the devil has a lot of his children in the pulpits, and the devil doesn't want you to know prophecy. He doesn't want you to know prophecy at all. The least amount of prophecy you know, the less unawares or the less aware that you'll be of Christ's soon return and the things that's going on around you. See, prophecy tells so much. It tells of the key players in these puzzles and what things to watch out for. It's like going to a new city with no road maps or signs. All you're doing is driving. If you're trying to go to a new city and you ain't got no signs on the side of the road telling you how far you are to the city, or take this left or take this right, you're gonna be lost and just end up just driving around. Well, that is what the devil's trying to do with keeping prophecy from being taught. And another thing is that a lot of teachers of the word nowadays really don't know themselves. But I will tell you, one of the great things about technology today is, and about prophecy, and I knew God did this for a reason. He did this for a reason, that it all can be looked up in history. Prophecy, the good thing about prophecy is it all can be looked up in history. So I'm telling everybody now, grab your pens and pencils if need be. Not too much in this first part, but so you can go back and you can Google it, and any questions you have, Google them. I'm telling you, I say all the time, do not take my word for it. Look for yourself. Do not take my word for it. Look for yourself. You know what I mean? Never take a man's word for it. Go straight to the Bible. Let's let the Bible interpret the Bible. And let's let the Bible answer the Bible. Let's throw our personal opinions out the way. But what I love about prophecy, it all can be looked up in history. It all can be looked up in history. And I can't just go into the mark of the beast, for there's so much that goes to the laying the foundation of it. So right here, first, in laying the foundation behind the mark of the beast, we're going to start in Daniel 8, the prophecy of Daniel 8. Now, and we're going to start at verse 9, the prophecy of Daniel 8, verse 9. And out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceedingly great toward the south, and toward the east, and toward the pleasant land. And it waxed great even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the hosts and of the stars to the ground, and stamped on them. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down. And a host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression. And it cast down the truth to the ground, and it practiced and prospered. And it practiced and it prospered. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which spake, How long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden under foot? And he said unto me, Unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. Okay, we see right here the little horn. The little horn is going to bring down God's sanctuary. Is going to bring down God's sanctuary. Now, I want to start. Let's go back to Daniel 7 just to give a quick synopsis of who this little horn is. For we know the little horn is the papacy. But like I said, let's let the Bible tell you that. Let's not just go on what I say. Let's let the Bible answer that for you. Go back a chapter to Daniel 7, verse 24. Daniel 7, verse 24. Matter of fact, we'll start at verse 23. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth. which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, the little horn, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. Now I want to go back up into verse 24. Now we know, well, we'll go back to verse 23, and it says, and the 4th kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, shall devour the whole earth. For this was wrong. This was wrong. And then the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise. These were the Germanic tribes that came apart when Rome broke apart. You know what I mean? These were the Germanic tribes. And another shall rise after them. Now this is the little horn. This is the Roman Catholic Church. And he shall be diverse from the first. What made the little horn diverse from these 10 horns that broke apart, these 10 Germanic tribes that broke apart, was the fact that he was a religious king. He was a religious king. This was the Pope. He was a religious king. This was the rise of the Roman Catholic Church. The Roman Catholic Church. And he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High. How does the Roman Catholic Church speak great words against God? Let's do confession, for instance. That's one example. It's confession. It's the only religion where they say you can go and their priests and their bishops can forgive your sins. Now the Bible tells us only God can forgive sins. Only God can forgive sins. But they say that their priests and their bishops can forgive sin. Every Catholic cathedral, don't they have confession booths? Okay, that's like them telling God, I can do what you can do. You can forgive sins, I can too. That's speaking great words against the Most High. And it says in verse 25, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. For millions of people have died under the Catholic sword. Millions of Christians have died under the Catholic sword. Look, this is all history. You know, it used to be illegal to be a Christian. If you were a Christian, when the Roman Catholic Church was in power, you would die. You either burned at the stake, threw in prison, tortured for life. You died. There was no question. You died for even having a Bible in your home. You died. The penalty was death. The penalty was death. And then it says, and think to change times and laws, for they are the only religion. They have completely taken out the 2nd commandment. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images. They took that completely out. You know, Googling Catholic Catechism. They took out the 2nd commandment and they changed the 4th commandment. Yeah, they changed it from Saturday to Sunday, and they brag about it. Get on Google. This is my word. I'm gonna do this in probably in part 2. We don't have enough time right here in part 1. But Google Catholic Church changes Sabbath to Sunday, and watch what pops up on your screen. For real, they don't hide it. Remember Hosea chapter 4 verse 6 says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. It only takes a couple minutes, y'all. Look these things up. Don't just take my opinion, or don't just sit back and say, oh, you wrong, you don't know what you're talking about. Look these things up. They brag about it. They play on people's ignorance. They play on it. They play. And you know what? You know what's so crazy? As we'll see in a little minute, I'm going to skip ahead of myself. They will ask one question. Well, what gave you the power to change the date from Saturday to Sunday? You know what they said? Because Protestants follow it. They said that's where we get our power from, the people, because the people follow it. But anyway, let's keep going. So we see clearly that this little horn is the papacy. This little horn is the papacy. And as we see in Daniel 8, let's go back to Daniel 8. As we see in Daniel 8 verse 11, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down. And what it says in verse 12, and it cast down the truth to the ground. Okay, and so what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you the different ways that the papacy brought down the sanctuary. Like I say, get your pens and pencils, because it is all All you have to do is know the ritual of Mass, to know most of the things I'm about to tell you now. But in the 2300 years, the 2300 year prophecy, I'm going to show in part 2 how God through certain people, like, Wycliffe, John Wycliffe, John Calvin, the Wesley brothers, how through certain people in the Reformation, how God ended up cleansing his sanctuary. And you say, how does this deal with the mark of the beast? It all ties in together. And once you understand this, it makes your understanding of the mark of the beast and things surrounding such more clear. More clear. For many people are being fooled on what the mark of the beast actually is, but we'll get to that later. But anyway, let's start. Okay, the first way that the papacy brings down the sanctuary is through the Eucharist. Through the Eucharist, they are crucifying Christ every day. Every day. Now, Jesus' sacrifice was a one-time sacrifice. There's the altar of sacrifice inside of the sanctuary. By them crucifying Christ every day, they are taking away the altar of sacrifice. For that altar of sacrifice was symbolic of Jesus' one-time sacrifice. Now, knowing that where it says right here, verse 11, Daniel 8, verse 11, yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host, that is Christ. And by him, the daily sacrifice was taken away. And as we see in Daniel 7:25, he shall speak great words against the Most High. Now think about it. If I was your enemy and I beat you up, and did you real dirty, and I just replay it every day. Every day I replay what I did in front of you. That's like me bragging, ain't it? That's like me bragging. Well, think about it. That's what the Eucharist is doing. Saying it's almost the devil's way of saying, look what we did to Christ. Look what we did to Christ. For Jesus' sacrifice was only one time. But through the Eucharist, through Mass, they sacrifice Christ every day. Every day. In a way, it's almost like bragging. But the first thing what that does is that takes away the truth of the altar of sacrifice, which is found in the sanctuary. The altar of sacrifice, again, is symbolic of Christ's one-time sacrifice. The second way that the papacy casts down the sanctuary is through baptism. They believe in sprinkling. For God says we should have baptism by immersion. Now, the reason why baptism by immersion makes it a conscious decision to being baptized. You are making a conscious decision being baptized, and plus your whole body, you are giving your whole body to the Lord, and your whole body is being made new. It is a giving of your whole body. It is a conscious decision, and your whole body is being made new. You are putting your whole body, your mind and your soul under God's subjection when you are being baptized by immersion. But sprinkling, it becomes more of a ritual, just like a ritual, like what they do in Mass, just a ritual, and you're not giving your whole self. You're not saying, God, I'm giving you my whole body from head to toe. I'm not going, I'm not gonna be covered in your spirit and in your word. My whole body. You're not saying, with sprinkling, you're not saying I'm not gonna be a new creature. It takes away basically you giving your whole self to God and you making a conscious choice to follow God. A conscious choice, by the baptism of immersion. So the second thing they do by casting down the sanctuary is by them changing God's way of baptizing. For just by sprinkling, you don't have to give your whole self, and that shows. Even their bishops drink, feel all right to drink because they drink wine right there in Mass. You don't have to give your whole body to God. And we all know you have to give your whole body, mind, and soul to Christ. Now in part 2, I'm going to start right there. Now in part 2, we're going to pick up from right there.